What's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the DPI podcast. Awesome show tonight. We got Peter with Princesses and the Mouse, Disney Travel. We're going to talk a little bit about Pandora on the West Coast and a lot of other things. Not to mention a new top 3 tonight, and we're getting close to Paris. Let's talk about it a little bit. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse, Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on? It is March the 7th, and this is the Disney Planning Insights DPI live show. And we're going to have some fun tonight. Like I said earlier, we got Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. We've got quite a bit of news, surprisingly, and we got a new top 3 tonight, and I think that's why everybody joins anyway. So our numbers always go up right around 7:30 because everybody knows that it's about 15 minutes for news, and then it's top 3 time. So they're getting smart on us. So let me go ahead and bring on Peter with Princesses and the Mouse, and let's see what we got going on. Mr. Salvadori, how we doing tonight?
I'm here. I did it.
You made it. Woohoo! Getting close to golf season.
Next week.
Means the temperature is going to go down and it's going to snow and all that kind of stuff.
You're not even joking. Did you look at the forecast for next week?
Yeah, it looks terrible.
Yeah. It's like high 30s, low 40s every day after it's been like 70 all February. Ridiculous.
That's about how it works, isn't it, though? I mean...
Yes, because that's how my life works. Yes.
All right. So we got a little bit of news today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. Let's get the news going. So we have 15 minutes on the clock. Let's go. All right. So big news today is Disney made a hire. And it was a relatively interesting hiring, and it was Bruce Vaughn returning to Walt Disney Imagineering as Chief Creative Officer. If the name doesn't ring a bell, don't be upset. But he was kind of the driving force behind the creation of Pandora at Animal Kingdom. And we got news last week that Damaro is really all in on this West Coast Pandora. And he had an interview with the Orlando Sentinel or Orlando Newsday or something like that. And really kind of doubled down on that this week, that what they are creating in Disneyland is going to be more expansive than what they have at Disney World. So I have 2 questions for you, Peter. First, where are they going to put it?
So that's been, like you said, kind of about almost a month ago. I think it was, like February 9th or 10th or something like that. It was kind of hinted to that Avatar was coming on kind of the heels of The Way of Water doing so well in the box office, and everybody, okay, the people that are really excited about Disney things have been really speculative in terms of where in all of this campus is it going to go. And honestly, I'm thinking through Disneyland's property, and I could see it a couple of places. Back behind Toontown, there's a bit of space that it kind of between like Galaxy's Edge and Toontown. There's definitely more property space back there. And then over in California Adventure, kind of back down past Pixar Pier, and as you kind of come back up towards the like Grizzly Rapids or whatever, Kodiak Springs, I think is the name of it, whatever it is. But there's a lot of campus over there that I wouldn't say is not used. I would just say it's poorly used, to my opinion, when you're talking about it. And so we did kind of get a big deal about this, and it makes sense that you're starting with this, because just earlier today, D23 just kind of said that what's in the works is promising to be as amazing as the Pandora experience in Animal Kingdom. And if you kind of think about what Animal Kingdom is, that's pretty exciting. So
yeah,
yeah, it's, where is it gonna go? Yeah, that's been the speculation for a month, and I still don't know if there's exact details about where it's gonna go.
Okay. Question number 2, because we're kind of in the middle of all of these huge promises from Disney as in regards to new attractions and new lands and that kind of stuff, and seeing a lot of things closed. Do you actually, or not get finished or not get started, do you actually think that this goes all the way through?
I was just seeing if there's been better speculation. Yeah, I don't see any firm stuff. This is really, yes, I do think that Disneyland will get some type of Pandora experience. They've already done like small scale, like kind of nods to it in the park, and those have been generally well received with attraction goers to go kind of like see it. Yeah, I do. I think it'll work out. I don't think it'll go the way of Cherry Tree Lane or anything like that, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, the refresh of Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well,
the play.
Here's the deal, though. They bit off a ton of stuff over at Disney World that they were said to do. There really aren't a lot of things in my mind over at Disneyland in terms of construction projects that they're waiting on. And on the Disney World side, yeah, it was tons and tons and tons and tons of things. So like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. And you and I remember back then, we were like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of aggressive. This seems smart to do, to put this in. Like I said, I would imagine, right? You just kind of go through things. You sort of had the Cars area added over to California Adventure, and then you had the Galaxy's Edge added over to Disneyland, and now you have the Avengers campus added over to California Adventure. The Toontown was just updated in Disneyland. So, boy, it's just a flip of a coin in my mind as to where they could be planning to put this thing. And here's the other thing you never know about Disney. They might snatch up property around their area and level it and then use that property that they don't even own yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean,
definitely some intriguing places in my mind, kind of knowing a little bit about that area and that campus. There's definitely room to do something, again, off of that would be kind of the north. I think it's, I don't know, you kind of lose track of directions when you're in Disneyland. You're just sort of like, there's the gates. But down near where Wheel of Color is, there would totally be space to demolish one of the buildings over there and create a really immersive land.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Character dining returns to Cinderella's Royal Table, and along with character dining comes a price increase. We've kind of seen this with every character restaurant as the characters have come back. There's been slight increases with the pricing. Royal Table goes from basically like $65-ish to $79-ish for adults for lunch and dinner. Yeah, it's basically your 3% raise there. So, or 30% raise.
3%?
30% raise, not 3%. Yeah. I'm a math major. Look at me.
Let me tell you about math.
So if you're planning on going to Royal Table, plan on spending a little bit more. We told you guys last week that Mando and Grogu were coming to Disneyland Paris. Alas, they also came to Hollywood Studios in Disney World, and it sounds like it's going to be a long-term thing as well, because they did not give a retirement date for the characters like they did in Paris. Paris is running through the 14th. Hollywood Studios, no retirement date, so that's kind of cool. Disney's Typhoon Lagoon Water Park is officially set to reopen on March the 19th, and because they don't have enough lifeguards, they will be closing Blizzard Beach, therefore, so that they can have one park open at a time.
Stinks, because we've been to Typhoon Lagoon. We wanted to go to Blizzard Beach. I was excited about seeing all the Frozen add-in, and now we're not going to the water park next month.
Yeah, but you're going to see Happily Ever After, you're going to get to ride Tron, and you're going to get to see Epcot Forever, whatever that's worth. So, I mean...
And backyard barbecue.
Backyard barbecue. So I think you're on the winning side of this more than the losing side.
We'll see.
All right. New Villas at Disneyland Hotel officially opens on September 28th, 2023. We had talked about when the booking dates were going to come available, but we didn't have an exact opening date last week. Now we have an exact opening date. That's going to be September 28th, 2023. Disney Blog shared pictures of the new spaces, and it looks really, really fun. So if you are going out to Disneyland out in California, you've got another place to stay if you're a DVC member, or if you're just really effing lucky and get to stay there and not be a DVC member. Those are going to be tough. Those are going to be tough to get.
Well, that's what I was talking about. DVC and Disneyland is tough to get in general. So, like, I was looking because I am kind of starting to get in the mindset of what does fall break look like, if anything. And we're about a week and a half out from when I'll be 7 months out for Grand Californian. And it's like, it's piecemeal to get a 1-bedroom. All the studios are gone. You can get 2 bedrooms in Grand Villas, but I'm not trying to lose 4 years worth of points for 3 nights. Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. Now, I will tell you this, though. The villas will not be 100% reserved for DVC. That's just the way DVC properties work in general. Only about 30 to 40% of the rooms are actually reserved for DVC members. Then from there, DVC members are capable of putting in wait lists, and the scheduling gurus will then watch the general sales, and somewhere around 45 to 60 days out, if those rooms are still not booked, they will then increase the amount of DVC reservations off of the wait list, because ultimately they want to fill the hotel. But I can tell you that in no way, shape, or form are all of the reservations DVC reservations. So I do expect that there will be a decent amount of reservations available for the general public at those Disneyland Hotel villas.
All
As
right.
with any, which is why, like, go on right now. And on the DVC side of Riviera for spring break, it's gone, but you can still grab a villa on the website.
Yeah, but again, $1,000 a night.
Right, exactly. Because why would they want to give it to me, the person that they already got my 20s of thousands of dollars?
Yeah.
But it's all in the contract when you sign it. So it's not like they're doing anything that I didn't know they were going to do. That's fully disclosed to you before you become a owner.
All right, last piece of news. Avatar: The Way of Water will release on digital on March 28th. The digital release will include 3 hours of bonus footage. No date has been announced for Blu-ray or Disney Plus. If they keep the schedule that they've kind of been keeping, I would say Disney Plus is going to be July 4th-ish. So look for a big release there for Way of Water.
Nothing says America Independence Day like Avatar: Way of Water.
Exactly. Disney.
Well, I mean, actually, it's kind of on point with the premise of the movie.
Let's see. Is there anything else new that's going on?
No, those are the two big things that I saw. Was the whole Avatar Land. They kind of doubled down on Iger's comments from a month ago. This morning, D23 confirmed that yes, we are planning an Avatar expansion to Disneyland, and that hiring that you mentioned at the that kind of confirms that.
Yeah. I mean,
they literally brought back the creative mind that figured it out in Disney World.
Hey, why aren't you working?
I don't know, but I think there wasn't really a ton going on this week.
There wasn't. There was enough. But yeah, not
We're getting close to Paris, though.
Yeah, I am getting close to Paris. A couple weeks away now. Super excited. Super nervous. Kind of that outside of the country, just ready to have a cool trip and see Disney from a different perspective. I think that's the coolest thing is, Disneyland Paris celebrating their 30th anniversary, so we're going to get some of that celebration flavor just like we've had at the Magic Kingdom for the last year and a half. And no, going to be really cool. Really, really cool. So, are you ready for some top 3?
Okay.
Well, don't sound too excited because here it comes. Business trip.
Do the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. All right. Good evening, everybody. It is top 3 time. I am Matt with the DPI podcast. Over on the other screen, which is right there, it's Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, showboating with his Highway in the Sky dinner badge.
No, I was just bringing up that this is how much I've been in this room since last Tuesday. But they were sitting within reach.
If this is your first time with top 3, welcome. If it's your multiple times, welcome back. What we do is we pull out a numbered chip from this little baggie here. I match it up with a topic on our spreadsheet. We have 20 seconds to come up with our top 3 or our bottom 3 of whatever that topic is. And tonight's number is number 25. It is the last one on the list. Let's see what we've got on number 25. 25.
I would just like to say that you did an amazing job with this jacket, not knowing of the hat that I was going to buy.
All right. Since this show is going away at the end of the month, let's do our top 3 moments in enchantment.
I was expecting you to say Armando. Oh.
No, enchantment.
Okay.
You've got 20 seconds.
Planning your first trip and getting overwhelmed by all the details? Planning your next trip and just want some new suggestions on things you haven't tried? Contact me at Princess and the Mouse Travel, and I'd love to work with you planning your next trip to the most magical place on earth.
You can contact Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. I'm going first.
Okay.
You didn't even know we were back yet, so that's awesome. So, if you want to suggest a category or a topic or something like that, go over to the website, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. Up in the top right corner, you will see a little form that will let you submit a topic for our top 3 or for our client question, which is the next segment. Go check that out today, and while you're there, you might as well get information on your next Disney trip. On that planning page, you can also fill out a form that will come to us, and we will help you get your next Disney trip on the books. So check us out today. So, top 3 moments in Enchantment. This is a great show. Not my favorite show in the world, but it does have some moments. And my number 3 moment is going to be kind of the little interlude section with Joe Gardner from Soul. Just a great... Really, you froze? Where are you at? There you are. Okay.
Oh, mine's going crazy.
I know, you're freezing all over the place.
Hold on, let me see if I can reduce my use.
So, really cool section with him on the piano. Kind of the whole area turns this deep blue and just kind of just has that jazz mellow feel. And then one thing that they added with the new show Enchantment is coming down Main Street USA, you get the projection as well, and that music just kind of fills that whole area, it looks like. And it's a really cool effect, really great part of the show. So that little transition with the music from Soul is my number 3. Peter, what is your number 3 moment of Enchantment?
Well, I gotta say that I wish that because this is a hard one to do, because you're like, oh my god, I have to remember this show here. Have I gotten better? I tried to reduce my stuff.
You're a lot better.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I am. Oh boy. That's probably my number 1. So I gotta pick something else for my number 3, because I need to build up to that. I am actually gonna go with the area in there where this is just kind of one of my favorites. So I love how kind of the castle goes dark, and then all of a sudden blues start coming up, and you start to hear the instrumental for Into the Unknown, and that just sort of builds and cascades into this really, really cool scene where it just goes through really, it's not even just Frozen stuff. It's just a whole bunch of different scenes from a bunch of different movies. But that song, Into the Unknown, is one of my favorite songs that has come out of a movie over the past few years. And so that kind of whole Into the Unknown scene where they're singing that, and there's a bunch of stuff. Like I said, there's Coco in there and Little Mermaid and Brave, all sorts of stuff. That's kind of the general theme of Enchantment is a song comes on, but then you just get boom, 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 character. But I really like the lead into that is my favorite, because everything kind of gets dark and calm and quiet, and then it slowly builds into this really grand Into the Unknown scene. So I'm going to go with that for my number 3, the Into the Unknown segment.
You get that really driving that dun 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 as it's coming in too, and it's more towards the Panic at the Disco version than it is
which
the Idina Menzel.
That version.
Yeah,
I love the Panic at the Disco version of Into the Unknown. So you kind of quiet. I'm trying to remember the scene that's in front of it. Oh, it's because I pulled up the scenes just to make sure I had my orders right. So it's coming out of the You Can Fly, and it just sort of dies.
Yeah.
like completely down to nothing. And then, yeah, like you said, the lights started to kind of come in along with the kind of the baseline of the beginning of Into the End. So yeah, really, really cool moment. Kind of halfway-ish, I would say, in the show.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our number twos. All right, so my number two, again, it's funny because, like I said earlier, this is not my favorite nighttime show at Magic Kingdom. Happily Ever After for me, far and away beyond this. But the song that they created for this show is really, really good. And the way they introduced the song in the beginning is fantastic. Because it's just a very, very slow build. No fireworks, no nothing for the first almost 3 minutes of the show. With the build of this song, which is really, really cool. So yeah, it just kind of everything goes dark. You've got like the pre-show music, and then it just goes dark, and then it's just a real quick, and you get the piano starting to play, and you have a little spark of light just working its way up the castle, and the castle's starting to turn gold where the spark of light is hitting. And it's just a really cool opening to the show. It really kind of gets you in that mood for that Disney nighttime show. So my number two is going to be just the opening and the original song that they kind of made for this show. So, Peter, what's your number two?
Well, you just took my number one, so now I gotta readjust everything. But I'm gonna cheat a little bit, but that's okay. I'm totally gonna do that when we get to number ones. Another spot that I really like in there is I'm kind of torn between. You know what? I'm gonna go with this one. They play one of the songs. Let me get the name. It's so in between We Know the Way and Be Our Guest, there's a little bit of stuff from Soul, and it's the Epiphany area of it. And so I guess kind of where I'm going with on this is I really enjoy that in this show they highlighted the classic, but they also showed the present and almost like in anticipation of the future. They talk several times throughout the texting of the show of the idea that Disney was all built off of one man's dream, and they show you the nostalgia of some of the original animation pieces, but then to include music from when this was created. Soul was, out for months at the time. Yeah. So to really have bookends from where it began to where it is today was a very, very impressive, an impressive move versus just grabbing the big ones. And I already kind of went over that with Into the Unknown. Into the Unknown is relatively like the newer big Frozen song. They could have went with the Let It Go or Want to Build a Snowman or whatever else. And so I really, really enjoyed that in this show. I don't know, the thoroughness of it all is where I'm going with this kind of thought. If you watch the show, you can legitimately find things from, I feel like 90% of Disney animation studios. Oh, yeah. Maybe even a higher percentage than that.
No, it's another fantastic area of the show. Now, if you guys want to watch the show and you don't have a chance to get down to the parks, over on our YouTube channel, you can check out a couple of different views from the show. So we've got a bunch of shorts up there that are just like 1-minute pieces of the show, or you can watch the whole show over on the full YouTube channel, the Disney Planning Insights podcast. All right, let's get to our number one. And Peter, before we get to our number ones, where can people find you?
Well, over at Facebook is the best place to find me. Just going and typing in Princess of the Mouse Travel, you'll find me on there pretty quickly. Sending me a Facebook message then off of that site really just kind of gets the ball rolling. I should reply relatively quickly depending on the time of day and where you're located. And then from there, I'll just kind of set up a meeting, and in that meeting, we'll exchange other contact forms like my cell phone and things along those lines. I just had a planning meeting Sunday night. Yeah, just had a brand new planning meeting with a new client on Sunday night. They take about an hour or so. It's a great time. It really is. It's a lot of fun getting to meet new people, and it's a lot of fun for me being able to just kind of let you know that you're in good hands, where when you try to jump into the website and start doing your own stuff, boy, it just gets daunting. And I hopefully very, very quickly, in even just my understanding of the hotels and going through the different hotel options and trying to find a fit for you, my goal is that immediately you feel like, okay, this person knows what they're doing. If you've seen this show, like I was joking around on Sunday night with my new clients. I was like, I have been there. You know, there's a lot of travel agents out there that do travel agent planning, book planning, and trips planning as their career. And that's not me. It's my passion. Hence this show and coming on here all the time to work with Matt. It's not my career. It's my passion. So I made the joke that, oh yeah, if you want to know where something is, then I'm going to be like, okay, so find this landmark, walk 23 steps, turn left down that road. You know, like I have a very, very intimate detail of the park, whereas many travel agents, you might say, hey, we're thinking about going to Disney, and they almost have to, you ask the question, and they go, oh yeah, I'll get back to you. You ask me a question, I'm most likely going to answer it and give you a pretty good sense of what it is. And I'm not going to upsell you. I'm not going to, I don't know, kind of deceive you almost with your options. I'm going to find the right thing for you and your travel party because I want you to have an amazing trip. Okay, that was a little bit longer than Matt was looking for, but it did give him enough time to lock in a number one.
All right, so my number one, I'm taking Tinkerbell. It's just, I mean, it's an iconic part of basically every show since Wishes. Tinkerbell comes out of the top of the tower of Cinderella Castle, flies across the sky. The build-up to Tinkerbell is fantastic as well. So if you watch very closely on the castle as they're going in the We Can Fly, or the You Can Fly section, you can watch Tinkerbell go all the way up the castle and then come out the top and then fly across the night sky. Fantastic. Well done. That is my number one. Peter, what is your number one?
Yeah, it's a really good number one, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I do that every time I watch the fireworks show. I wonder if we're going to get a Tinkerbell or sometimes Tinker Bob flight, and maybe people don't know about that. Maybe, I know we've talked about that before in this podcast, but if you actually pay really close attention to what's going on there, a lot of times it's Tinker Bill. So, so anyway, but that is one of my favorite things to do is if you kind of watch that spire, obviously they don't have their big lights on because they ultimately light lights before they go flying across the sky. But the dress is so sequined that they're wearing that you can kind of catch a glimpse of when the light from the fireworks and the light from the show kind of hits off of you. You can be like, oh yeah, they're going up there. And then you can kind of catch them at the top and you can see specks of light kind of coming up. Anyway, yes, fantastic one. So I'm going to kind of go back to yours, but I'm going to talk about it in a different way. I love the way that Enchantment starts. It is unlike any other fireworks show that Disney has ever done down in anywhere, whether it be Epcot or Magic Kingdom. I love it's like two blasts that sort of like bring you to life and go, oh, it's time. And then very soft, quiet, inspirational. And then it ends with the phrase, and it all starts with a dream. And then it goes to old footage of Roy Disney kind of talking about the park and showing the plans of the park being formed and talking about like the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. And then a big, like the partner statue illuminates. If you're far enough back to kind of see that aspect of it, the partner statue illuminates, and then that leads to a bunch of balloons going up the castle in celebration. And finally, Mickey lets go and welcomes you and exclaims that you are the magic. And then the whole show fires up into life. And to talk about Disney World and its dream becoming a reality, from Roy's brother Walt to Roy overseeing the real creation and construction of it, to just kind of get some of that historical perspective, it was the perfect show to go along with the 50th anniversary, because it's kind of like my number two. I love when you kind of harken back to history and show where we've gone since then. And so it is just the perfect start, because it let me set the groundwork for why you're here in this place right now. And then look at all we have done and all we have accomplished and all that we are going to continue to do. And I talked about that in my number two. The show is just IP after IP after IP after IP after IP after, like, this song shows these 8 characters, small scenes. This song shows these 8 characters, small scenes. It's a celebration of everything that has happened in Disney Animation Studios. And to start it with, look at this place that you're in. It started with a swamp and a vision and a dream. And now here we are 50 years later enjoying this amazing show. So I'm going to go kind of doubling back to yours. You were talking about how the song kind of works in. I'm going to talk about how the show kind of sets in. Really, really, really powerful and moving, especially if you're a little bit more of a Disney fanatic. Other people might be like, okay, this is boring. Can I get to the characters, please? For me, that show really makes it special.
Well, it's funny because I have never seen that opening of the show. I've seen Enchantment 4 times now, and I've never seen that opening because they added it late.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I saw it last time I was there, and I thought, oh my gosh, this makes this show. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I haven't been there since March of last year, and they added it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm just thinking of the most recent time I saw it, and it was just an amazing. It was just an amazing kind of set, and yeah, that would have been for fall break last year. That makes sense. Yeah, so it was there by then.
All right, well, Peter, awesome top 3. Again, if you want to find us, you can find us over on Facebook at DPI Podcast, the travel side at PATM Disney Travel. We're here every Tuesday night in some form or fashion, whether we're live like we are tonight or taped like we're going to be sometimes with golf and life coming up here in the summer. So you'll see us one way or another every Tuesday night. So thank you very much for watching. This is the DPI Top 3.
Do you have questions concerning planning a Disney trip? Ask them live on the show or submit them on our website at patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning.
All right, so client question time. I kind of want to tie this in with the fireworks because we just did a top 3 on our favorite parts of Enchantment, and if you didn't get a chance to see that, go over to the website, the patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com, or over to the YouTube channel, and you can check that out as a standalone episode. So when it comes to fireworks, Peter, there's a lot of people in these parks. You know, what is your strategy for getting the best place to watch fireworks?
You talking about Magic Kingdom or Epcot?
Let's keep it in Magic Kingdom since we were talking about Enchantment.
But Enchantment's leaving soon.
It is, but we'll have Happily Ever After coming back, that kind of stuff. What's the best way to get a good spot for fireworks there?
Okay, I'm going to do both.
Okay.
So, boy, Magic Kingdom, you just have to make a conscientious decision several hours before the show. You have to ask yourself, how important is the right spot for you? Because you will see people, let's just say, because right now I think fireworks are going at 8:15, so we'll just kind of use that as our baseline. Sometimes fireworks are at 9. As the summer goes on, they slide back towards 9. But I think right now they're at 8:15 for the time being. So let's just use 8:15 as our, yes, Matt?
Well, I was just putting up the 5 because that's when people are going to start hovering around the hub.
Yeah, and it's funny because my very next statement was going to be, let's use 8:15. There are going to be people that you are going to see start setting up camp 2 to 3 hours ahead of time. Like, absolutely 100%. And it won't really look like that's why they're there, but the knowing eye inspecting it knows that is exactly why they're there. You'll see a couple people kind of sitting a good 6 to 8 feet apart, but they're clearly together because they'll keep leaning over and talking a little bit. And they've got that space because their group is still enjoying the park. Around like 7:30, you'll see around 7, I'm sorry, about an hour or so, you'll see those same 2 people still sitting there, but now the group has joined them. Especially when you see them sitting on if there's the castle, you've got all the little like planter areas. If you see them sitting on the away from castle side of the fence, like that is exactly why they're there. 100%, no questions asked. That is why they are there. So if you have a favorite view and you really want it, you have to be willing to go get it. Now, on the flip side of that, many of us aren't trying to just go sit there for 3 hours to then go watch the 15, 20-minute fireworks show. Because how much can you accomplish over the course of those 3 hours from 5 o'clock on? You're talking, you could do a dining reservation and 3 to 4 rides probably in that same amount of time. And so my family, we don't put a huge stake on it. And so here's kind of my strategy, if you will. So I like to look for tape. So when you get into the hub, if you wait until like the 7:30 to 7:45 time frame, look for tape. Because at that point in the night, people will still be moving quite regularly in all the other spaces. And so those spots by the fences, those are going to be scooped up at least an hour ahead of time. But there are still lots and lots and lots of great places to watch fireworks. And Matt is also a tape watcher because I know where his favorite spot is, and he kind of has the same strategy as me. I am less picky about my tape, but here's what I'm talking about. What you will find is you will find rows of tape, and then you'll find intersections within that tape. And those intersections mean that throughout the show, cast members all the way up until the show starting are going to be keeping those lanes clear so that people can still be traveling throughout the park. So one of the things that I like to do as I kind of get into the hub around 7:45, maybe even as late as 8 o'clock, is I like to find an edge at one of those intersections, and I want to stand right at that edge on the far side of the walkway.
Okay.
Because now I know that if I put my daughter on my shoulders and my son in front of me and my wife next to me, that gap where they're going to keep that walkway clear for emergency purposes and traveling is going to provide enough of a break in vision for us to see the vast majority of everything that we want to see up there. So if you're late to the party, find that edge in the tape. Another great idea, especially for those of you with kiddos, find a trash can. There's trash cans all around the hub, and stake out a trash can to where the adults stand right behind the trash can, or the maybe older kids stand right behind the trash can, adults stand kind of to the side of it, or kind of shove your bigger kid in between the trash can and the fence that it's next to. And then any littler kids, as the show starts, plop their butt right up on that trash can and just kind of stand holding them off to the side. Because now they're up the same level as the adults. They have a great view. You don't have to throw them on your shoulder for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Just a couple of pro tips from somebody who has seen lots and lots and lots of fireworks.
And if you want to tape them, do the same thing. You know, those are great ideas when you want to tape the fireworks as well, is look for those taped off areas. Now, on the flip side, instead of being with the tape right to your heels, you know, find that tape right on your toes. That way you're...
That's what I said. I want the tape on my toes.
Because now you've got that room in front of you to where you don't have... You have that walkway, and then, you know, trash cans are always a great idea to give yourself some space and to be able to put a tripod up or a kid or whatever to tape as well. Now, I'm going to jump in here because, you know, one of the things that I like to do is utilize some of the fireworks parties that they have. Now, it's kind of a little cheater thing, but it gives you a good place without having to, you know, stake out your claim for land that early, because there's 3 different fireworks parties now. So there's one where you have the desserts before the fireworks, there's one that you eat your desserts during the fireworks, and then there's one that you eat your desserts after the fireworks. So if you're eating before or after the fireworks, you get a special spot in the hub grass to watch the fireworks from. So yes, you're going to pay money for those spots, but it's almost like a fast pass for the fireworks, and you get a really good vantage point in the hub. And then for those people that are having those desserts during the fireworks, you're watching those from Tomorrowland Terrace, which is going to be off to the right of the castle, which is another fantastic vantage point to watch the fireworks. So
yeah, then Tinkerbell goes right over the top of you.
Yeah. So great places to watch the fireworks there as well. So let's talk a little bit about Epcot, because Epcot's kind of a different animal because you kind of have a 360-degree view of the last few shows. I really feel like in the new show that they're gonna utilize Spaceship Earth a little bit more. So it may cut down that area, that port of entry area, a little bit to where people don't have to flip back and forth to watch the show. But with the shows that are currently there, so let's say Harmonious, Epcot Forever, and then let's go back to the show before it, Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, which kind of is just everybody's favorite show ever at Epcot. What are your strategies there?
So yeah, Epcot's a completely different beast. Again, you do have to do a little bit of forethought in terms of like, what are you trying to accomplish? So in between Port of Entry and World Traders, there is a central area that will always team up with people. And if that's where you want, so that would be the most front on view that you can possibly get of the lagoon for the show. And if you want there, you're going to have to employ similar, not quite as crazy, but similar, like about an hour before you should really be kind of staking your space. And from that point on, you should leave 1 or 2 people from your party. I like to use the rule that for every 3 people in my party, I should leave 1 in my holding area. And then the others can still kind of venture and come back, but that way you have enough to hold the physical space that you need. But then what you'll also see about an hour ahead of time is you'll also see along the railings around World Showcase, you'll see people who are clearly doing the same thing at Magic Kingdom, where they're camping. They're just kind of sitting along the railing looking out at the lake. One of my favorite spots is actually over in Germany, if I can get the picnic tables down by the front. Now, more and more, Disney seems to be booking those for some type of a VIP viewing experience, which has got to be kind of like private parties and private
corporate events, something like that. Yeah.
Same thing over in between France and UK. There's this nice lower walkway but Disney almost always has those booked for like corporate things and whatever else. And it's still worth a check though, to check around an hour ahead of time to see if those are roped off or not. Because if they're not, they are fantastic places to view the fireworks. Now, I will tell you two of my favorite things in terms of, like, if it's not a big deal, if you're not recording, if you don't need the best of the best of the best views, I really like grabbing a drink in the UK pub and heading down into the seating area down there next to the water. Quite a few people know about it, but not so many to where about 30, 45 minutes before the show, you're likely going to be able to find a table down there and just kind of sit and set up camp, have a few drinks, maybe some fish and chips from the Yorkshire fish shop, and just kind of like relax away from the chaos and the craziness. And kind of along the same token, back there in Germany is a perfectly great place where you'll get an obstructed view looking out, but you can grab one of those tables back around that German square and just kind of sit and relax. Because the real answer to Matt's question is, as long as you're willing to stand and hold any shorter viewers or employ the same trash can tactic as I talked about in Magic Kingdom, you can roll up to the Epcot fireworks and see just fine last moment.
Yeah.
You just got to be willing to be flexible, because there are going to be areas that choke up. Over by Mexico, port of entry really, really chokes up. But then if you go back into like Morocco and Italy and those types of places, boy, you can just grab a spot standing in the middle of the walkway. There's still tons of room behind you for people to walk.
Yeah.
You can set yourself back 20, 30 feet from the actual fence line so that you have a big vantage point and you're not feeling choked up. Like, there's really no bad spot. Now, Matt does raise a good point. If Spaceship Earth Globe is more involved in the new show that they are in the process of planning, you are really going to want to watch the show from somewhere from Germany over to France.
Yeah.
Because you're going to want the across the lake view to take in the whole thing. Because if you are at port of entry, you're going to literally be sitting here going like this. And it's funny because it's right there.
Yeah.
There's the globe. And so I'm at port of entry and I'm watching the show at the lake, and then I'm turning around looking at the globe. So,
well, I mean, and that's the thing. It's going to be like, for the people that are always in the hub for the Enchantment and then Happily Ever After when it comes back. Now, there are projections on Main Street USA, and if you have not seen them, they're pretty awesome.
yeah.
And they're behind a majority of the people that watch that show. So, no.
Yeah, you almost, in order, and I'm wondering if with Happily Ever After, there's going to be some of that same 3D mapping added in. I am curious to see that, but you almost want to watch a show in Magic Kingdom from up in the hub to watch the castle and see all of the cool animations on the castle and all that stuff. And then you really want to watch a show from back where they put the Christmas tree over the holiday season, just to see sort of the whole view of what the show is. And Epcot's going to be the same way. You're going to be able to sit there at port of entry and see the show over the lake. Or if you go to the far side of the lake, you can kind of get, I don't know, show plus.
Yeah. Yeah. No, really cool things. One last cool place to check out the show at Epcot. Try and get on the balcony at the pagoda in Japan, where Teppanydo is. That's also a really, really, really cool place to take in a show. You definitely want to be towards the corner of the pagoda, the corner of that balcony, but one of those places that 45 minutes before the show, you can get up there and you're above everybody to watch that show. So, no, Peter, thanks a lot for giving us some answers on tonight's client question. Everybody that joined us tonight, thank you much for watching the show. Hopefully my Stream Deck is not dead. It is not, which is awesome. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have a good week.
Bye, everyone.
Peter from Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel joined us tonight. We talked about Pandora on the West Coast, and we had a top 3 about fireworks shows. If you're looking for us on the internet, you can find us in a lot of places. The best places over on Facebook at DPI Podcast, over on Twitter at Disney Insights. The YouTube page is the Disney Planning Insights Podcast, and over on Instagram at Princesses and the Mouse. Hopefully we have TikTok here soon. Who knows? we're trying. Thank you guys all for watching, listening, joining, sharing, liking, everything that you do. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you here next week.